In today's video, we're going to be going over my personal top 3 heroes for the jungle role. These are the heroes I like to play whenever I'm playing casuals or if I'm playing ranked. I like to pick them up just because they're really good, and they currently are in the meta right now. They're banned a lot in ranked, they're picked and banned in like pro play. These are my top 3 heroes for the jungle and with builds as well. So in no particular order, the heroes are going to be Crunch, Grux, and Feng Mao. Feng Mao recently getting buffed. Let's go over Grux first. Grux, with these heroes, they are the warrior class heroes. So there's a lot of heroes you can play in the jungle. You can play assassins, warriors, even tanks you can play in the jungle. But these heroes, the warriors heroes, they excel in the jungle. The reason being is because their clear is really great. They have good CCs, and they're a little bit more on the tankier side. So for Grux first ability has a pull. He can go in. A little tip here for Grux is if you jump while you're moving, if you jump and use your pull, you won't put yourself in stationary. You actually keep that momentum so you can pull a little bit further. So jumping pull is going to be the play there for Grux, but his Q is a pull to bring everyone closer. He has a dash on his E skill. The right click is going to do great damage, 72% scaling, healing reduction is really awesome. And then his ultimate is where his CC comes into play. His pull is really great for CC as well. You go in, you kind of pull, but you do an AoE stun. You're going to stun everyone around you for 1.2 seconds, and you're going to increase your overall power by 30%. And that power is going to be scaling as well whenever you get points to his ultimate. So again, the warriors, they have great CC, they have great damage, and they have great clear. They're a hybrid of everything, and they have great stats as well to be a little bit more on the tankier side. And the way you build them as well is going to make them a little bit more tankier. But the warriors are kind of king in the jungle at the moment, Grux being one of them. Next up is going to be probably the best one, in my personal opinion. He is like probably the only S tier character in the game right now. It's going to be Crunch. He's just insane. Crunch is just, his clear is really good. Whenever you get points into your ultimate, your cooldowns are insane. You have crazy like dashes. You can dash, multiple dash. You have back-to-back stuns. You can, just travel the map really quickly because your dashes are insane and your clear is amazing. You just clear so quickly in the jungle. His main damaging ability is going to be his Crunch, the Q swing. And then with Crunch's ultimate ability, whenever you have 2 abilities active, or whenever you use 2 abilities and you use a third one, that third ability is going to be the enhanced version. So the enhanced version on this one is you're going to increase the range and you're going to decrease the enemy's physical defense by 30%. Not really that big of a deal. You're not really using the enhanced version of this Crunch swing. The second ability is going to be the E ability, the Crunch blow. This is going to be a stun. This is one that you're going to stun for a certain duration, and they're going to do some damage as well. The enhanced version is kind of the better part of this. You're going to increase your damage by 25%, and you're going to launch them in the air for 0.9 seconds. So you'll put a little bit more CC, as you can see right now on the screen. On the left side, you have a little stun. On the right side, you knock them up in the air for a longer duration. So the enhanced version is the one you want to be using a lot more on this one. Crunch's right click is going to be his dash, Crunch charge. You're going to charge forward, you're going to do some damage, you're going to slow them, and you're going to stop on them on your regular basic one. The enhanced version, you're going to increase the charge distance so you can travel further, and then you're going to push enemy heroes with you. So this is what Crunch's main escape is. He can just travel the map really quickly. So with the dash, you can get a dash, and with the ultimate, you can reuse your previous ability. So you can get a double dash with Crunch. So a lot of the times whenever you use your enhanced ability, it's going to be either to double dash to go around the map, or to use a double stun to keep someone locked in. You stun them, then you ult again to get a better stun to knock them into the air. So his CC is really great. And then Crunch's ultimate, every time you use it, a basic attack, it's going to decrease all your cooldowns by 0.2 seconds, and that will increase. And then whenever you can reuse, the active part is you reuse the last skill used. So his cooldowns are insane. His clear is insane. His mobility around the map is insane. His crowd control, although it being single target, maybe you can get multiple targets if they're really close. But for the most part, it's single target. However, that target is going to get locked down a lot. You're going to get stunned. If you do your combo correctly, you'll get stunned, and then you'll get knocked up in the air, and be stationary again. So Crunch is really good, and he's really good at catching up to people or disengaging. So again, Crunch probably just the only S tier character in the game, really. And then the last person who recently got buffed is Mr. Feng Mao. Feng Mao is really good. He's a really safe character. Before, he was getting picked and ranked because Grux, Crunch, and Seraph were banned. Seraph recently got nerfed pretty hard, so we're not really seeing a lot more Seraphs. And for me personally, again, I like Feng Mao. I've always liked Feng Mao. But Feng Mao is kind of risen because he got buffed. Also, he's just a really safe character. People are understanding he's really nice to play. So with Feng Mao, his ability, the Q skill, It's going to grant you a shield. The shield is kind of meh. It's not really, you know, a lot of a shield. The main thing is while the shield lasts, the hero obtains a skill immunity effect once. So as you can see, the Rampage is trying to throw a rock at the thing now, and he just blocks it. He negates it. Your shield just needs to be active, and then it'll block it. So that's really the main use. The shield amount isn't really that important. The Fang Mao's E skill, Spear of Dawn, is going to slow enemies in the area, and then it's going to do a certain amount of damage, 65% scaling. This is going to be his main damaging ability. So you're going to level this up. It's going to be your main clear. This will be your main damaging ability whenever you're fighting someone. You slow them down to kind of set up your other abilities. And then the right click ability is going to be a dash. You dash to a target, you do damage. This has 60% scaling. So you'll dash in, do the damage, do your AoE E to do some more damage, and then kind of just, you know, keep locking them down until they get to that threshold where the ultimate recently buffed is. You do, when they're in execution range, you see that skull emblem on the Rampage. Whenever in that threshold, you can slam them down and instantly execute them. You can kill them instantly. As you level this up, that threshold is going to increase. The base damage is 390, and then as you level it up, it will increase to more. And if you execute somebody within 8 seconds, which scales 8 to 12 seconds, I think now with the new buff, we can cast it again. So in a team fight, you can run around, fight somebody, execute, fight some more, wait till someone else gets below a threshold, execute them again, and kind of keep going that pattern, and it refreshes every single time. So Fang Mao recently getting buffed, and he's been a fan favorite of mine for a long time. I've liked playing Fang Mao before the buff, so I'm glad he's finally getting some love. But those are the top 3 warriors. I'll say junglers, but warriors are pretty solid in the meta right now. So the top 3 junglers are going to be all 3 warriors. A notable mention, an honorable mention, I guess, it would be Xena. I like to play Xena. I like to play her. She's really fun. She has great damage with the new new items in the game. Make her a lot of fun to play. You could definitely pick up Xena if you want. But for me, if I'm playing, you know, if I want to win a game, I'm picking those 3 characters. All right. So as far as building the warriors, the beginning strat is going to be a little bit different. It's a lot of the times it used to be Spirit's Fang. That was kind of the meta go-to. Like as soon as you get your first items, always be Spirit's Fang. But it recently got triple nerfed. They nerfed the power, they nerfed the passive twice. So it's a little bit on the lesser side. So right now it's still kind of up in the air where to start. But there's a couple of options that you can go. The few options. First, we'll start off with, you know, we get double health potions going into the Shanty handgun. Those will be your kind of 2 starts. If you're gonna go if you need anti-heal in the game, an option you can go to is Ghost Axe. It's going to give you, it's really cheap, 2,300 gold, 45 power, 250 health, 10 CDR. CDR is really great. And on warriors, you can use your abilities a lot more. As a warrior, you're not like really doing a lot of damage. That's not your goal, is to be the top damage. Your goal is to be a little bit tanky, do a little bit of damage, have low cooldown so you can use your abilities. You're not going to be auto-attacking a lot. So CDR is really great. And then of course, you know, whenever you put anti-healing, you decrease the anti-healing by 40%, and you'll deal bonus damage by 5%. When you're attacking a target with decreased healing. Another option that I've been seeing as well is Vamp Sword. You're going to get some power, some life steal, you're going to get a little bit of health, and you're going to get 10 CDR. Whenever you do a basic attack, you're going to do equal to 60% of your physical power to nearby enemies. So when you're in a team fight or if you're clearing your camps, this will kind of help you clear your camps a little bit better. I've seen been running around a few times is Maladura Spray. It's a cheaper item, 2,600 gold. You're going to get 35 power. 15 flat penny is really nice in the early game as well as the late game, as well as your main target is to be the back line when you're playing the warriors or you're playing in the jungle. You want to be diving the back line. So flat pen is better. You don't really care for percent pen. Flat pen is going to be the key there. It's going to give you some health. It's going to give you 10 CDR. And then whenever it increases your physical power by 12 and physical defense modification by 5% for every nearby enemy hero. Usually, you know, whenever you're diving someone, that's going to count as a stack. If they have a buddy, that's 2 stacks, and a big team fight, you're going to get multiple stacks on this. So it's going to increase your overall power. And then we're going to be building into Osai's Holy Water. This is going to give you 50 power, some magical defense, some health, and when you get below a certain threshold, you're going to remove all debuffs, and then you'll decrease the damage taken by 40%, and you'll become crowd control immunity for 3 seconds. So this is a really good item when you're diving in, if you're taking a lot of damage, go a little bit more on the tanky route. Get this item here to, you know, get a little bit of magical defense, get some more power, but whenever you get below that threshold, you'll reduce damage by 40%, which is pretty huge. And the next item we're going to go into is Emergency Rescue Unit. This item right here, it's not bad. It's cheap, 2,500 gold. You're going to get 500 health. Again, as a warrior, you want to be more bruisier. You don't want to do a lot of damage. You want some tankiness on you. So you're going to get 500 health. On the passive, you're going to increase your physical power by 20%, And then when you get below a threshold, you're going to gain a shield equal to 20% of your max health. So the more health you build into this, the bigger your shield's going to be. The health, the physical power by 20% is not bad either. Whenever you get this online, you're probably getting around maybe 30 to 40 power, somewhere around there. So not terrible. You're gonna get some power as well, some health, and then the passive, which is pretty good. So this will kind of be like your core items, and then from there, it's kind of just depending on how the enemy team is doing. Who on the enemy team is doing well, and what do you need to counter the enemy team. The warriors and the tanks, they're usually going to be just counter building. That's their main thing. There's not a set build that you're always going to be going. So I have a couple of options here to use. So for one, a popular one is whenever they're building it to crit, go into anti-crit. You're going to get physical defense, 300 health, some more CDR, which is great. And you're going to reduce the crit damage by 40%. So if the majority of the time, the enemy ADC is going to be building crit. So you're always probably going to be building into this crit. This is almost like a key item pretty much. But build into crit if you need it. If you don't, it's awesome for you. Next item I have here is for anti-healing and a little bit of damage reflect. Zinx, Claw Barrier, 60 defense, 300 health, 60 physical defense, 300 health, and you reflect 10% of all the damage you take, and you'll reflect it back, and you'll decrease enemies healing by 40% for 3 seconds. So if there's a lot of healing on the enemy team, if there's a lot of lifesteal and things like that, you can go into this item. If you didn't go into Ghost Axe, they don't double up, so either one of these, this will be cheaper early on. If they have healing on the enemy team, you already know that healing is gonna be a problem. I recommend going Ghost Axe first, just because it's super cheap. And next item is gonna be your mage items, your mage defense items. So Mana Black Hole, it's gonna give you, it's 2600 gold. It's gonna give you 50 magical defense, 300 health, 10 CDR. Again, CDR is great. 40% is the cap, so you want to try to get as much as you can to that cap. The passive is you're going to decrease the magical damage by 20%. So you'll take less damage by 20%. A new item that came into the game, Shockwave Generator. It's 35 magical defense, not a lot, but 600 health, which is really huge. 10 CDR again, key. And then on the passive, whenever your health drops below 30%, you're going to deal an AoE damage, 200 magical damage to all nearby enemies, and you're going to stun them for 2 seconds, which is massive. 2-second stuns in this game is insane because the team fights are so quickly. If someone's stunned, locked down for 2 seconds, they can pretty much die instantly. So this item is really key. And then the last item I have is another useful item. Blacksmith Scissors. It's going to give you magical defense, 400 health, 30% tenacity. Tenacity is crowd control reduction. So if you're getting hit with stuns, a lot of CC on the enemy team, this will reduce it by 30%. So this is a good item to go into. And the passive, it recovers 2% of your max health for 5 seconds every time you get hit with a crowd control. It's a 30-second cooldown. So if the enemy team is heavy on CCs, go with a Blacksmith Scissors somewhere in your kit to prevent those CCs. Warriors and tanks are a little bit more on the trickier side to build because you're doing a lot of counter building. There's no one set build path. Even like some of these items on here, I might not even dip into these. Like I could go some other items too. If they're like heavy physical defense, our physical damage, I might go in high-end armor. I might, not pick up a few magical items and just go more magical or go more physical defense. Artificial Gravity is another great item to go into. It's giving you some physical defense, health, 10 CDR. If the physical damage is not a problem, if their ADC isn't really that big of a threat and they have a lot of more magical damage, I might stock up with some more magical defense. I might throw in some, maybe a Atreus band. It depends. The character that you're playing and the team that you have. If you have like a Narbash on your team, or if you have like a Muriel, Atreus band's pretty nice because when they heal you, you're going to get 40% increased healing and increased shield effects. Berserker's Helm was recently buffed as well. You're getting some more physical magical defense, 15 CDR, which is huge. Actually, this looks really nice. It could be up here as almost a must, man. 15 CDR is insane. But it's just, there's so many items for physical and magical defense that it's hard to choose which one's going to be useful because it's just going to vary depending on the game to game. But for the most part, this is kind of be your core, minus again your starter item. You can mess around with some other starter items that I mentioned, but minus this, it's going to kind of be your core items that you want to put into your kit, depending on how the enemy is playing, who they have on the team, and what they have on their team as well. There's a lot more thought process when you're playing warriors and tanks in solo and in jungle, but these are going to kind of be your key items that you want to go to if you're playing a warrior in the jungle role. Honestly, even in solo as well, you can use these items in solo and that'll be fine. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I will answer them. You can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Cordy. I'll be, when I'm streaming, you can ask me questions there. I'll be more than happy to help you. This is a difficult role. Jungle is one of the more difficult roles to learn in any MOBA. The class is difficult as well because you have a variety of items you could choose for. You can go a lot of these power items. You can go a lot of these physical defense items. And you can go a lot of these magical items. So there's a lot that goes onto these roles, the warriors and the jungles. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them down and stop by my Twitch. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.